Hey everybody, it's Adrian here. Just want to give you all a little bit of a heads up. Due to illness striking all of us here at the Mile High Game Guys headquarters, Jeff ended up with strep throat. I had some food poisoning, and well, Zach made it through unscathed, at least so far. But due to Jeff and I being kind of sick, we ended up not recording anything this week. So instead, what we are going to be doing for y'all is releasing some previously recorded content. Listeners for a long time might remember way back at the beginning, we had mentioned that we did some spoiler episodes for T.I.M.E Stories. Well, that was back when we were new, and similar to episode 2, we messed up, and the audio was recorded entirely from the laptop microphone and not our actual fancy mics and soundboard and everything. So the audio is rough on them, and we were debating about whether or not to ever release them. Well, works out perfectly. We've got 2 episodes. One, the one you're about to listen to, for the module, the Asylum, and then on Friday will be the Marcy Case spoiler episode. And so we cleaned up the audio as best we could. It's still not great, but the content's there. So, and then with us being sick and not being able to record, we figured we'd get something out to y'all. Hopefully that tied you over until next week when we'll be back with a follow-up to our recent discussion about board game ethics and things. We're going to follow that up with a discussion about biases as reviewers, like what kind of biases we have and how that might color some of our reviews, and go a little bit into that. Hopefully we'll have a guest on for that. We're still working on some details there, but yeah. Also next week we will announce the contest winner. The contest for 7 Sevens from Eagle Griffin Games ended on Sunday, and we will announce the winners when we record next week. And one last thing for those of you who are, just really dying for some extra awesome stuff. This Wednesday, the 4th, at I believe 8:30 Eastern Time, Brandon from What Did You Play This Week podcast is going to be holding a Punchboard Media live chat over on YouTube. So keep an eye on the Punchboard Media Twitter account for more information about that. And that pretty much wraps up everything that I have for y'all here. Enjoy this spoiler episode of T.I.M.E Stories Asylum.
All right, welcome to a special edition of the Mile High Game Guys board gaming
what
podcast.
Is it? I want my notebook. Oh, okay.
We are recording this as a special edition. We're going to talk a little bit about the modules of T.I.M.E Stories. This is a full spoiler episode, so if you have not played T.I.M E Stories and you care about spoilers, stop listening now. We have me, your host Adrian.
We still have Zach, another host. And Jeff.
And Megan,
still not a host apparently.
a regular guest.
Hello.
Who has been our 4th for T.I.M E Stories because it plays 4. And so we typically play, after we record our episodes, we play a little bit. And so she's been playing with us. We are 3 modules in. We're going to try and talk about all 3, but we'll see. We'll break them up too, so if you played 1 or 2, you know when to stop listening before we spoil something. But the first one is Asylum. And
most interesting name out of all of them.
Yes.
Yes.
Asylum.
So,
I bet you can't guess what it's about.
Mm-hmm.
Asylum 1921 NT.
Yep.
which I think we've decided NT is normal time.
Sure, yeah.
Sure.
Oh, did you decide that?
No,
I guess I did.
No. I remember talking about it.
Because what's the other one?
AT.
AT, which is alternate time.
Which is yes.
Yes. So, Zach, you want to give us a rundown of T.I.M.E Stories in general and how the game works?
Sure, yeah. So basically, you go anywhere from 2 to 4 people. It's just this giant board. So the actual game is sort of like a console, and it has all these different modules. You can insert like a VHS into a VCR sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And so this one is the Asylum, and so basically the story is the overall story of the entire game system is that we are time travelers. There's this thing called the agency, and they basically send us back in time. They send our consciousnesses back in time into different receptacles, as they call it, to stop bad time things from happening.
Yes.
Temporal rifts, and I believe they call it. And so this one, we are going into a 1920s era insane asylum, and basically we all take the form of one of the insane people, one of the or whatever you want to call them. That's what I'm looking for.
Yeah, drunk blank too. Somebody helps out.
Inmates. Yeah, sure, that works.
Patients.
There we go.
Patients.
I don't know why I couldn't.
Institutionalized.
Yes.
I think they were called inmates, though.
They might.
I might as well be.
We're
Yeah.
looking for temporal faults.
Well, you know what? That's why I said time things.
Time things. There's a lot of time things
There
in
are a
time
lot of time
stories.
And so basically, we each take one of these characters, and then we explore all of these rooms. And so you have this map in the corner that just tells all these different locations, and then these cards that bring up a panorama of a specific location, and everyone can go to these places in this location. Flip over the card, deal with whatever it is. And the interesting thing to me is that even though it has a bunch of text, you're not just supposed to read it to people. You're just supposed to give people the gist of the things that are happening. It's, oh shit, this guy's coming to attack me. I need to be able to defend myself. Or I just found this really stupid thing. I found this plunger. I have no idea what it's for. Stuff like that.
Super key item
Yes.
in the first.
Yes.
So there's generally like a first card for the room that somebody reads out loud that talks about like what we're seeing in the panorama, and then you decide which of the cards you want to send your character to. You flip it, you read the card to yourself, and then you summarize it for the other agents. Because in the lore of the game, we are able to communicate telepathically with the other agents, so that we are all constantly communicating what's going on around us.
So
My favorite part is the characters, or receptacles that you can choose from.
yes.
Particularly in Asylum, I think it had the best characters so far.
Yeah, well, because you got all crazy characters, and
Yeah.
so it was
Yes.
great to see their specific crazies.
Yes.
Yes.
I like the nun who is in there just because she's so bitter.
Yes.
They institutionalized her.
Yep.
There's our favorite to roleplay, the Eratomania lady.
Oh yeah.
She is
thinks
convinced that
everyone's
everyone's in love with her.
In love with her, so
The cannibal is pretty great too.
cannibals,
I like the cocaine addict.
cocaine
Because
addicts.
everything he did was it's probably cocaine over here, and it was hilarious how many times I was right about there being
There's-
cocaine or needing cocaine.
There's a surprising amount of cocaine hidden in the
Yes.
asylum, and a surprising amount of people who are like, hey, pay me cocaine when
Mhm.
you do you things.
Yes.
Yep.
So we played through this one. It took us we played this one all the way through in one sitting. Most of the other ones
Yes.
we split up because it has a cool little save mechanic where you can save your game state and come back to
Mhm.
it later. But we played through this in one sitting. It took us 3 rounds through the time track
Yep.
before we won. It should have taken us less, shouldn't it have, Jeff?
It should. One of the cool things about Time Stories is you play the same events until you run out of time,
Yeah.
but then you go back and you can replay from the very beginning. You lose most of what you gained, but not all, and you go back through and try again.
Well, basically any information you actually gain, knowledge is kept throughout the round, and so especially a lot of our first and even our second round was just, or our second runs, we're just going like, well, let's see what happens to this guy. Oh, there's this guy with this top hat that it seems like he actually knows what we're talking about. And we have this plunger that he's talking about. Let's give it to him and see what happens. And then we just spend 5 time units dancing around and just, god damn it.
And when any given run is like 25 time minutes, spending
Yeah.
20% of your time just watching a guy dance in a circle is not a productive
No.
use.
After circling the plunger for a while, your calves really hurt.
Yeah.
Yes. That's what happens when
Yes.
you go dance with the plunger.
Yes.
So
And I did say I did like a lot of the red herrings, even though they were immensely frustrating while we were playing. I really liked all the red herrings. So you're always just like, ugh, this. I want to know what this is, but I don't think anything's going to come out of it.
Yeah.
And it'll just hurt us in the end.
that's definitely something we've gotten better about, I think, as we've played, is realizing that you can't and probably shouldn't explore everything.
Yeah, I think
Yes.
that's the hardest thing is, like, you want to see every single thing on there, and it's not feasible or advisable to see everything, because almost everything has something bad in them.
Yes.
And it's just, but the game is to figure out what is bad and what's not. Some things look really bad
Right.
and are very important, and some things look great and are not.
Total dead end waste.
Yes.
It's in no way, shape, or form
Right.
my fault.
No, don't. So I figure we should probably give like what our general opinions are of the entire of this module,
Yeah.
and then probably go into some specifics that we
Sure.
really liked or didn't.
Sure. So I liked it. And I think that overall, of the three we played so far, this was probably my favorite. I felt this was one of the easiest ones to roleplay, which I'm not sure how much roleplay you're really supposed to do, because you're supposed to be yourself, like getting put into these different people. So I don't know how much of their personality is really supposed to come through, and how much is you controlling them.
But as you have, each character has their own abilities and effects and
Yeah.
downsides, so it's sort of hard to not roleplay.
I
when
felt
you-
this one made it almost like, especially where you had like the cannibal who actively got health for eating people that you defeated. Like if you defeated somebody, you could take a bite of them and heal yourself.
Yeah.
And so like that's got to be some of that person taking control of you, because
Yeah.
you're supposed to this future time
Yeah.
person. It's not like you're gonna be gnawing on corpses.
It's a good thing.
fair enough.
A lot of
Yeah, I was
those
eating corpses before I went back in
yeah,
time.
Maybe now I understand why Megan was
Oh.
constantly the cannibal.
Bob teaches us things.
He does.
One more.
Bob is sort of the overarching boss of your time-traveling
gives you
units,
your briefings.
and
Yeah.
has the greatest facial expressions
He
on the
does.
cards.
They really
of any
nailed it.
game I've ever
They
seen.
really
Yes.
nailed it with Bob's artwork.
Yes.
Bob mad and happy is Bob happy is kind of weird.
It was.
because he's
really
angry
weird.
a lot.
Yes,
He
he
is.
was.
Because we're
Terrible
Right.
people.
So
bad times.
yeah. So you were overall very, very happy of the game?
Yes.
The results of it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, the result, then we did the worst on the first one.
Well, yeah. Okay.
So I was not happy with the results,
yes.
especially because we were doing, I felt, pretty good moving through the first and second ones. And then there was a location we hadn't explored. We kind of left it. We knew about it from, I think, the first run.
It was the
But we
second
hadn't
one. I
quite
think,
gone there. And so the third run, early on, we were like, well, let's go check that out. Because we were still, like we just mentioned, trying to see everything.
Mhm.
And that was a poor choice.
It was.
It was not somewhere you want to go unexpectedly.
No, so it was the catacombs, and this was before we realized, sometimes you can just leave a location if you just don't like
Yes.
what's going on.
Yeah.
We should have left.
We thought the only way to leave the location was to get through all of the people.
Well, I thought we felt we had to at least go see them once, and then if you got locked, you were stuck and had to keep going.
Yeah.
But
No, well, I know one of them was like you had to do all of these things, like you had to go here and then go here and
Right.
then go here, and
Right.
as a group we all had to do.
right, and so that's what we thought. We
So
thought you
there's-
had to at least encounter the first card,
Right.
and if it forced you to keep going, you just got stuck
Right.
going.
So if you've played Rules Navy,
Which
you know there's combat in this
Exactly.
game. There's a lot of combat in the catacombs. And the story really has a turn for the eldritch horror, cosmic horror
Yep.
Yeah.
tunage to it.
Mm-hmm.
As you learn about a cult in the Asylum and people going missing and you trying to find those people and stop it, and then you kind of
Dr.
think,
Hyacinth.
yes,
And then a griffin appears.
there's just a fucking griffin.
Yeah.
Like, oh, we're gonna go to the fucking
Greenhouse,
when-
just off the
Yeah.
grounds.
when
You thought the guy was crazy?
Yeah,
Tell us about the griffin?
exactly.
You thought he was super crazy?
And then
he
totally
just wasn't.
the girl drawing the, and then
And the best part about going to the greenhouse and being the only person there, you can't show everyone, but you can tell them, there's a fucking griffin!
yeah.
Take my word for it, the crazy guy wasn't so crazy.
And so I'll say the worst thing about when we went to the catacombs is because we decided to go pretty much the first thing
Yeah.
we do in the third run. So we had no weapons, no nothing to fight
Let's go
anything.
straight to the catacombs, guys.
Yeah.
That's where we gotta go.
Didn't you look up and you saw that, like, people were the general consensus of people who went to the catacombs unprepared did not win?
Yes. A lot of people ended up going like, oh, let's just sort of see what this is, and oh my god, this is a horrible
It's all
decision.
bad.
It's a bad
Everything is bad.
decision.
So if you're violating, and you're actually like, listening to this having not played, I guess now you know, stay the fuck away from the catacombs.
So you are prepared.
Yes.
if you are probably not prepared.
Yes.
I think one of the things I really liked about it is you had to find these different pentagrams,
Yes.
which created a puzzle, which was really took us actually a good amount of time to figure out this
It
puzzle.
did.
There's about 5 different cards, and they had letters and numbers all over them.
Mm-hmm.
And throughout various
And
clues,
weird
they would
symbols.
tell you how to add up
Yes.
these numbers, what order they would have to go in, and then how to read these letters so that it would form a sentence.
Yes. And I would say, like, my own, like, I really liked how ingenious that was, but the only thing I didn't really like about it is it felt, like, especially until we got it, it felt like we just hit a wall.
Yeah.
Like, we didn't
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
because the card just says,
The final card I felt could have given
to
a
compose the
little bit better.
code, follow the instructions of the 5 principles.
Yeah.
And that doesn't tell you, like, obviously once you start reading things and you go, okay, it says read item 19.
It was tricky to figure that out.
Yes.
We had found clues
We had found clues.
about what order to put the numbers
Yes.
based on a
Picture.
picture that was hung up in one of the bad guys' offices, but as you're not allowed to take
So-
notes, you
yeah.
just sort of have
So-
to take memory.
So this is one of the things that I like the most and the least about this one. So of the 3 we've played, like I really like this one had actual like tricky puzzles that you had to really work with, but where it was also the very first one you played, you didn't get like eased into the idea that you need to remember a lot of detail.
Yeah.
So it was it was ridiculous.
Yes.
Um,
I will say that this one does have my favorite art out of the 3.
yes.
Especially the photo or the portrait or the group portrait of everyone working the asylum. Everyone looks really creepy and like
Yeah.
they have just enough character like facial features missing
Mhm.
that it just is extremely unsettling in the best way.
Yeah.
And no, I definitely loved a lot of the art that was in this.
Definitely. I thought this one also did a really good job of balancing skill checks. Like there was enough combat to where combat was important.
Yeah.
There was enough like agility, pick locking type, lock picking type stuff
Yes.
that was important.
You
And
learned that you have 2 options, and you can choose to go through it the fighting way or the not fighting way.
Yeah.
And you can get completely different
Yes.
rewards.
Results.
Yep. The other thing, and this is something that I've with all 3 of them, that is one minor problem that's kind of always in the back of my mind is that unless you just get obscenely lucky, you're not going to win on your first run through.
Yeah.
Well, the game is designed not to do that. Like you're not supposed to win
Well-
on your.
But then at the final scoring, there's always one that's pretty much like the only way to get that is to do it on your
Well,
first run.
yes, and so that's going to be there for people because people have actually. It's also if you want to just play it just to see, there are people that play afterwards just to
Yeah.
see what their best score could be.
Efficiency.
There is a way to do it, but you only have like 2 or 3 time units to spare. So if you get unlucky rolling that die,
You're screwed.
you're screwed. And so,
And I guess that's where I would have the problem is that I don't like games where you can be screwed out of a win, or in this case, a top ranked win by a bad die roll. It's a
It
minor
never
problem.
came down to like one die.
Well, for us,
roll.
it certainly didn't.
It came
because
down to
we didn't win
just-
it the first time.
Numerous bad die rolls or numerous bad choices.
yes. Like I said, I feel the game would be broken if someone lucked their way into getting exactly what they needed.
Yeah, that's fair.
And so I feel like the entire premise of the game is about going back in time to
Mhm.
redo runs, and so I do like in essence that if someone did get extremely lucky that they could technically get it on the first try, but more often than not it's hey you didn't finish it, so that some of the things you did were not suboptimal, or you sort of went the wrong way. Go find if there's a better way to go do it.
Yeah. No, and I like that. I do. Like I said, it's one of the things I like the most, and it's
Right.
two different aspects of that same thing that I really like and really kind of don't like, but don't hate. I like the game. I'm definitely excited to play the 4th module.
Right.
What's everybody else's opinions of the game?
This is probably my favorite of the 3 that we've played so far. I really like the puzzle aspects, like you were saying. It felt like we had it felt like there was an actual mystery to explore, and I just loved all the little moments, like when I was playing all the cocaine guy, the cocaine addict. That I always just felt like, well, I'm gonna go do this because that guy probably has cocaine, or I'm gonna go look in the medicine cabinet because there's probably cocaine in there. And guess what? There was cocaine in that, and I was so happy when I got it. And then there was a guy who's like, "Yeah, I'll help you if you give me cocaine." And then I was just like, "Oh no, but it's my cocaine. I don't want to give it away."
Cocaine has actual game use.
For being so addicted to cocaine, you didn't use much cocaine.
Well, that's because once I used it, I would have lost it and I wouldn't have had it anymore. I used it when
that's how the addiction
No,
works.
I understand that, but I'm more of a hoarder. Like, my hoarding addiction is higher than my cocaine addiction.
Fair enough. Jeff, your thoughts?
I liked it. Wasn't my favorite.
Okay.
It definitely had a cool story. I like the cosmic horror turn that it had and all the crazy fucked up monsters.
Yeah.
Definitely cool monster art.
Yes.
The puzzle was really cool because we had to piece it together from a lot of other clues that we got. Specifically that crazy lady's art at the beginning that sort of let us down like, hey, that's a griffin. I wonder if there's a griffin. Yep, there's a griffin. Southeast then clockwise that you were obsessed with that we never got until that very end.
Right at the end.
Basically, the whole puzzle was based on that one picture.
Yes.
The cool part that I liked that we still haven't discovered after playing through modules, we collected 2 random gems during the game and got a crazy cosmic cube thing.
Still haven't found it useful.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Lingering thing in the back of our brains.
Yeah. It was good. There was some cool options in the end. When we found the cult and the pentagram, you could totally make a choice just to be like, yeah, let's complete the ritual and fail the mission.
Yes. I was actually reading on people that had done that, and they actually convinced people because it was like, yeah, it's that girl from the beginning. She was telling us to watch out and stuff. This is probably the different ritual, and then when it happens and you get kicked back, and Bob is like, really? You really? We wait for you to stop it, and you just fucking went there and just completed it for them. What the hell? And I love that the game doesn't even say, go back and fix it the right way. It's like, well, we know what's going on now, but you guys fucked up.
Yeah, you completed the ritual. You were supposed to stop it. You completed it.
Indeed.
You're done.
There's some other cool choices, like you can, to kind of move on to your next portion of the game, you have to go visit with the doctor. I don't remember his name. It was Professor Hyacinth, or Professor, and there's Doctor.
Yeah, you never met one. You met one and not the other.
Yes.
I don't remember who was who.
You could kill him.
Yep.
And find your own way through the catacombs.
Yep.
And get a piece of the puzzle. Or you could just follow him, and he'll lead you through the catacombs.
Yes.
And give you a piece of the puzzle.
And
But later, you have to fight him during the ritual.
Yeah. If you didn't
kill him in the first place, then you have to fight him.
Yes.
We pushed that
The first
bitch
time.
down some stairs the first time.
Yeah, down the hole.
And then the second time we're like, let's see what happens if we don't. And then he just let us through. And then we're like,
shove us
oh,
through a
sweet,
door,
we don't
locked
have to do
behind
that
us.
anymore.
And we didn't have to complete a puzzle.
Yes.
And then
Which
we
was-
had to fight him.
Yeah.
Which was easy at that point.
Yeah, it
It
was.
Because he was in love with me.
Yep.
So, Megan, your thoughts?
It was good. Like I said, I really liked the puzzle aspect of it. I thought it was the most fun to play in the sense of like everyone I felt really got into the role playing. Like I was a little cannibal girl, like, oh, well this guy's like asleep in his bed, maybe I can sneak over and have a little nibble and he won't notice. And I thought the role playing aspect, with a cocaine addict and a woman who everyone was in love with, really made it for a good story. And I think that's what I like best about Time Stories, is it feels more of a story than a game.
Yeah.
Definitely very.
But it's not like Arabian Nights where it's only story and it's just chance. Like you actually have a distinct purpose and way to manipulate what's going on. So it's also has that good game aspect that makes it fun to play multiple times.
Yeah. So, any final thoughts on it?
I hope the ones we play for the fourth one that we're going to play at some point, I hope that they focus a little bit less on the combat and start doing a little bit more on the puzzles.
Yes, I would agree.
Yeah.
The second and the third ones had a bit more fighting.
A lot more
Yeah.
fighting.
As well,
Everyone has
especially
an
for-
immense.
Yes.
Yeah.
But we will talk about that when we get
to those reviews.
Yes.
So, all right.
Yeah.
Well, this has been our quick little review of the first module of Time Stories Asylum. Catch us again here shortly for our review of the Marcy Case and then Proxy of Dragons. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Bye.
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 Punchboard Media,
where we all
Bring something
to the table
pull up a chair
at punchboardmedia.com.